Hi, this is Around Atlanta, and we're with Rock, the creator of Airbnb Riches.
Hello, Rock. Welcome to Around Atlanta.
Hello.
So, how did you get into real estate?
It was a long story. Again, to make it short, I was working for Pizza Hut and I was working 65, 70 hours a week. I wasn't paid what I was worth, and I knew that, but the company didn't see that. It was time for me to get a raise. They denied that, even though I was one of the 7 superstar managers in the whole United States. So that made me think about what else should I do, and that's when I talked to a friend of mine. He was basically working with me. He was tired of the same thing, just working 9 to 5. And in our case, it wasn't even 9 to 5. It was from 9 o'clock till 9, 10, whenever we had to be done. And that's when I started real estate. And my first house was my mother's house. I purchased that subject to most people who don't know what that is. You're basically buying a property with no money, no credit, taking over someone else's mortgage. And I learned that by going through a course. And then in January of 2001, there was a seminar where I went to. And in those 3 days of that seminar, I spent $26,000. Now, that $26,000 that I didn't have, all I had was $500 in my bank account, and I had credit cards. So I used every credit card I had to get myself educated, and I started real estate. And fortunately, within my first 2 years of being in business, I did 150 deals, and that changed my life forever. And one of the things I was doing is when I worked at Pizza Hut, I actually was getting paid $35,000 the whole year, working 65 to 70 hours a week. And I wasn't, of course, happy about it, but that's the only thing I could have done at that time, or at least I thought so. So during that time, I also bought a house. I rehabbed the house using none of my own money. I actually borrowed money from hard money lenders. I rehabbed that property. So my check, or the payday when we closed it, was $36,000. So when I looked at working for a whole year for $35,000, or one deal, $36,000, there was no going back. And I gave my boss a 2-week notice. They weren't happy about it. But of course, that's the end of the story. That was the beginning of my new life.
So, tell us, why real estate?
Why real estate? Real estate is one of the best investments out there. It has given me the freedom that I have always desired. Living American dream is one part of that is having your own house. So in being in real estate, of course, that needs to be a priority. And on top of that, it gives you the kind of freedom that everyone desires and would love to have, and most people, especially those who are working and have 9 to 5s, don't have, and they never can have that kind of lifestyle. To me, I go where I want, when I want, and eat what I want, where I want, anywhere I go, and no one can tell me when to be where. I always avoid traffic jams. The saddest part of the day for me is driving during traffic hours and looking at other people's faces. I can challenge you to go find someone who's happy. You look at someone's car and they smile back at you at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because they have to do that, and that's that part of the business I really love. I make my own schedule. I make much more than working for other people, and there are tons of deals available where if you know what to do and how to put it together, you can be very successful in this business.
Why Airbnb?
Airbnb truly is not totally real estate business, but they all are interlinked and related. If you know how to do real estate, Airbnb is a great way to make money. Airbnb is truly a hospitality business. But if you put real estate and Airbnb together, without real estate, without a piece of property, you can't do Airbnb. And that's the way I look at it. Since I know real estate, Airbnb is beautiful cash flow. It has much more cash flow than rental properties. And because of that, I like it, because a property that you can rent for $1,000 a month, you most likely can get $3,000 to $4,000 a month out of the same property. So if you can get 300 to 400 times return on your money on one property, why not?
Do you have to have good credit and lots of money to get started?
That's a misconcept and misunderstanding that a lot of people have. No, you don't have to have good credit, and you don't have to have any money to do real estate the right way. When I started real estate, as I mentioned, I had $500 on my bank account. I had a 620 credit score, and with that, you can't buy a house. So what I learned was how to purchase properties without using your own money, without having great credit, and basically purchase them creatively. Even today, when I look at deals, I look at if I had only $500 on my bank account and I had 520 credit score, how can I purchase that property? And that's how I mainly put it together. I go back to when I had to do that. I had to look at a deal, put it together creatively to make money, because that's the only way I could have done it. And again, for those who say you can't do it, I did 150 deals in being in that situation and within 2 years. So if I can do this, and I can tell you honestly, my English was not as good. Right now it's not perfect. Back then, I couldn't speak very well because I was somewhat new to the country. And in some cases, when I asked people questions, I didn't know the answer, or they couldn't understand what I was saying. So I had to go to their houses and ask the same question again so I can get the answers properly. So again, if I can do that, I know anyone can, especially people who are always, even they have money and credit, and they are always holding themselves back.
What are the common mistakes of doing Airbnb or renting out Airbnb for extra income?
Some of the common mistakes are purchasing property or paying for a property too much, paying too much on your monthly payments, and not marketing your property properly. The other one is truly paying for material and the things that you're purchasing, spending way too much money on the property itself. I actually have written a report, 12 mistakes that every investor make when they are doing Airbnbs. For the audience, that would be my gift to them. If they are interested, just contact me, send me an email or give me a call, and I'll send you that report. I go in details about that information. That's definitely something everyone who is interested in this business must read. And it can help him avoid a lot of those mistakes. Again, paying too much, buying properties in the wrong places, wrong kind of properties, that makes a big difference. Doing too much on the property, spending too much on the property itself, all those are some big mistakes a lot of people make. Instead of making money, they're losing money.
Why focus on luxury homes with Airbnb?
Like anything else, if you really look at it, the bottom is very crowded. Everyone wants to work on the low-end properties. Anyone can open up a basement, and now you have a competition in your neighborhood if that's all you have. Anyone can use or rent their one bedroom, and they're staying in the next one. But again, when you look at it, Airbnb, even though luxury homes are expensive, the monthly payments are expensive, the outgoes are a whole lot higher. Again, the income is much higher too. So on properties that we do, usually average income is about $6,500 to $10,000 per house per month, compared to a one-bedroom apartment or one-bedroom condo or one-bedroom or two-bedroom house. You can't get anything like that or anywhere close to that out of that house. So I like it because first, it's not very crowded. People don't have that many options when it comes to 7, 8, or 10-bedroom houses. Most houses, even Airbnb, if you go on their system, they go up to 16 people sleeping in the same house. Most of our houses, we can sleep up to 26 to 30 people. That means there's much larger properties, and there are not many competition. Now for Airbnb, because they have only 16 people, because average properties are sleeping less than that, we get additional payment for people who, or the groups who are more than 16 people when they come to our houses. So usually when they come to our houses, those weekends alone are between $4,000 to $5,000 per weekend with the large groups.
So what's your screening process for renters?
We actually look at in details of who our guests are, and because if we put the wrong people in here, we're going to pay for it in more than one way. And we have learned that by by experience, not good experiences, of course. So we actually make sure that our guests, first, they are over 30 years old. We do make some exceptions, but majority of the people who are throwing parties and trashing your properties are the younger group, unfortunately. So we make sure that older crowd are usually reserving our home. And if everyone in the house is not old, that's fine. But at least one older person over 30 is responsible for everything. And on top of that, we make sure that these people have been at Airbnbs before. They have some reviews. They are not just new accounts. Make sure that their numbers, their emails, and all of that has been verified. And on top of that, when we look at things that doesn't make sense, we always ask for a copy of an ID and a copy of a credit card as a backup. So when people know that we have, I would say, their tail under our foot, they're not going to do anything wrong. So, and we take care of them, and in return, we want to make sure that we are protected.
In your opinion, what are the 2 reasons Airbnb failed?
Not paying attention to your numbers, and number 1 reason, not taking care of your houses and not marketing enough. So if you're not marketing enough, you're not being in front of everybody to get your occupancy level high and stay close to 100% if possible, then you're going to spend a lot more than you're bringing in. No business can sustain spending more than bringing in, of course, for too long, and that's what most people quit and leave. But again, if you take care of your marketing, take care of your clients, so you can get all your feedback, and you have your superhost status or your status that at the highest level possible with any channels that you're working with, then you're going to have your customers and clients, and that will make you money, and you can stay in business for a very long time.
So how can our audience reach you?
You can go to our website. If that's one way. You can go to airbnbriches.com. And the other thing you can do, call us. If you have any questions or you want to report, go to my website at airbnbriches.com, or you can call us at 678-318-1888. That's our office number, and you can reach me there 24/7. Again, 678-318-1888.
How do you handle property damage from undesired parties?
Time to time, their damages can be done, and if you rent it to the wrong people, you will have to deal with that a whole lot more than you should. So we may do our best to not rent it to the wrong people, but when we do, and if we do, number 1, if your property is rented through Airbnb, they have $1 million insurance policy. So your property is protected through them. And the second thing, every property that we have, we always get a secondary insurance on that property. And that is mainly, and it is exactly for this purpose, renting properties short term. So we have that as well. And then lastly, we have a maintenance on staff that takes care of the small minor things most of the time. So the minor things, if you let it be, it becomes major in the future, especially with the water leak and things like that. So we always take care of all of that, make sure our properties are in tip-top shape. Again, if something happened, we fall back on insurance, and the insurance on the Airbnb or any other channel we are working with.
So tell us, what do you like about Atlanta?
I like Atlanta because anywhere you go, different parts of Atlanta, you just see totally different lifestyle, different kind of people, different nationalities, different kind of food. It's a Tanzanian city, so you're going to see a lot of people from all over the world, all over the states for sure. And that's what I really like about it. It's this multicultural, it's a busy city, that's for sure. It's one of the biggest cities in U.S., but it's not as crowded, and it's really not, especially it's not that expensive to live here in Atlanta too. So the cost of living is much lower than other big cities, and there are plenty of good restaurants, especially lately, and that's what I like. Yeah.
So thank you, Rock, for being on Around Atlanta.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.